Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm continuing a walk that I did in a previous video from Angmering to Poling, from Poling back to Angmering on a circuitous route. So this is one of my church to churches. There isn't a third church involved, so I'm going back to Angmering in this walk from Poling Church here, which is I'm going to start. But I'm hoping, according to the OS map, to take in a decoy pond and just circumnavigate the farm that I came across passing the site of the old Roman villa that you can't see anymore if you watched the previous one. Sadly, of course, it's all long since gone. And then weave my way back to Angmering. So who knows what's en route other than those items, but you never quite know. So I'm going to leave the church here in this wonderful broad sunshine with a jumper on, which I'm now regretting, and head off to the east. So the first part of this walk comprises really returning on some of the walk that I did before, but not very much. We're basically just going to go about a couple of 100 yards down a lane, and then we're going to turn left or north and we'll get some new territory. But some of this I didn't film anyway because I thought I was pretty much up against the church. So we'll just get through this bit next. I'm filming in autumn now. We're in September, sort of a third away through September, and I suppose you can argue that that's autumn. The trees are just on the verge of changing. Certainly they seem quite dry because we had very hot summer and very dry summer, so some of the trees have been affected by the drought, as it were. But we are getting some discoloration, but as I say, not a huge amount. And I always love this time of year when there is a change. I think from winter to spring and then from summer to autumn are fascinating times to get out and just observe nature. So even if you're on a walk and there isn't great relics to look at, historical heritage relics in the countryside, there is, luckily, all the nature that we have around. Although, disturbingly this morning, I heard a statistic on the radio saying that wildlife now, in the last 50 years, has been so terribly disrupted and so much has gone from our countryside, and I think a lot to do with the modern practices of farming and the use of herbicides, fungicides and all of that. Once you get rid of the small creatures, which are the lowest part of the food chain, it works up. And I'm not sure why both governments and farmers have not really thought about this in any great detail. Perhaps they don't think it's that important. But I think we're going to start realizing just how important conservation and nature is for us all in the future. I'm weaving round a field now, away from the track that I had come on. So this is new territory now, following the map, the OS map, which I have downloaded on my phone. This field has cows in it, cattle at least. I don't know if they're cows or bulls. Now, I'm not a great fan, even though recently I've been working with Francis Sedgwick's Dexter cows, and they're very nice and very tame, and she was with us Julia was with me as well. I'm on my own in a field with cows which are farmed a little bit more industrially, so not cared for in exactly the same way. I can't say that they're not cared for beautifully. I'm sure that would be a terrible thing to say without proof, so I'm not saying that at all. But cows can be inquisitive, so I'm slightly concerned. As it happens, I'm directed through this gate here, so I hadn't actually had to go through the cows, so all of that was completely unnecessary, the worry. They are actually sitting there very calmly. They're quite far away for me to get a good picture of them. But let's progress whilst we can and go through this field. Well, this is rather splendid. We've come out of that gate you just saw, and then to this rather lovely pond which is around me, and I think there's more to see according to the map. Just a little pond in the middle of nowhere, and no doubt the cows come up here and have some water when they're let in, but fortunately they're not in at the moment. In fact, there's actually two ponds here, one after the other, and you can't help thinking, I wonder if years and years ago these were part of perhaps an iron forge, a hammer pond, or part of a mill stream, and that maybe there was a mill sited here. These are sort of things I speculate when I see these things, because it's not by chance really that you get ponds as beautiful and as neatly positioned as this, and so there must be a reason. And possibly what with the Roman villa nearby, the two churches that I'm in between, could have been a mill. If it was rural farming, perfect sort of place for it, if the stream is coming off from higher ground and ultimately going into the sea. Anyway, we're going to cross a field in front of me, and another stile to clamber over, which is fine, and a whole host of blackberries. And on the route, on my other video, you didn't really see me do this, but I was just picking some of the lovely blackberries. Look at that. Very nice. More here to be gobbled up en route. Quite refreshing. Right, let's go across this. I don't know what they're growing here, but perhaps these are some sort of cabbage crop or something, or a cover crop maybe. I am approaching woodland. In fact, not so much approaching it, I'm in the woodland. I'm going to weave through here a little bit, I think, and I've got to go round, so we'll see how this takes me. But let's have a look and see what sort of woodland this is. Principally, it seems to be oak. Mostly oak. I'm trying to find if there's a branch. Here we go. Oak leaves. But here, not only is there oak, but there is chestnut. So oak and chestnut, old little woodland, which is lovely. But not for very long. Tiny little area. Lovely sort of place I would love to have on the corner of some land if ever I could afford some. And having gone through this, we come out this end. There's a big old house to my left, to the east here, just now if I angle the camera behind me. Beautiful looking property, and then there's this huge field here, which must be something like 20 acres, I'm guessing. And never ever, I can't see it happening, to be able to afford a lovely house like that and a massive field like this. But that would be my dream, to have a lovely house and a lovely field, even though this is a bit fallow and more like heath. It doesn't seem to have been worked for very long. It's quite compact as I walk on it, although the vegetation is quite springy. Surrounded by these beautiful trees, what an amazing setting and what a fantastic life you would have. So we're coming out of that field, excuse me, something stuck in my throat then, past what I believe is called Decoy Pond, which is rather fascinating. Let's have a look. I wonder if there's any fishing rights on here that anglers can come in and... Is it anglers who fish on the sea and fishermen who fish inland? I'm never quite sure how that works, not being a fisherman myself. Again, the house that we saw is over there, and there's this wonderful pond. Just a beautiful part of the world to live. The world, sadly, is in the domain of those who've got the money. And those who haven't can stick to the footpaths and dream. Well, I'm back on one of the roads that leads into the village of Angmering, where I started in the previous walk, passing some lovely old buildings, I have to say, which is rather nice. It looks like an old forge up ahead, and a house, posh old house here, with the stable inside. What does that say? Motterton House? Not sure I can read it, but anyway, the churchyard, a church and the churchyard is just ahead of me, so that's it. Got the church here, so I'm going to end now. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. If you've enjoyed these two videos, do give me a thumbs up. If you care to become a patron and support what I do, I'll continue to get out and make these videos. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.